All right, let's look at how to do a translation. We're going to start with number 1 right here on your worksheet. But I first want to just talk a second about a translation. So a translation is basically taking a shape, a line, a point, whatever it is, in this case, this little random triangle, and moving it along the vector. And what I mean by along is I mean like kind of parallel to it, the same distance parallel. So I'm just going to try to move it right parallel to that. Now, when I do it with my hands, I'm probably not doing a very good job. So I might need parallel lines. So I want to just remind you something about parallel lines. If I have these two parallel lines, I have a transversal coming through. I just need to remember, so that I can make them well, that the corresponding angles, so like the top right and the top right, they're the same. So I'm going to kind of use this to guide me in doing this problem number 1 that you have in front of you with B and A here. Okay, so what I want to do ideally is I would like to move this line B with this vector. So this is a vector. So I kind of want to just like have it shoot out on a vector, kind of going this way. Oh, there goes the bell. Parallel to here. Okay. Now this line is not perfectly parallel because I want to move that way. So I'm going to have to actually make a parallel line. So we're going to make one. So first step to making a parallel line is I do a transversal through this point. That's where I want the parallel line to be. And I'll just see here, what should be a good parallel line. Let's do it like this, a good transversal. Okay. So here's my transversal. Now I'm going to try to make that perfect parallel line. So to do that, I need to figure out the angle situation because I want corresponding angles to be equal. So I'll start by making a half circle here. And I will also make a half circle right, oopsies. Try and get that same exact point right here. And just something I sometimes do is I'm going to mark the darker exactly where I have my point because I want it so big. Now, again, to have those angles be the same, I need to check them. So I'm going to check underneath. So this angle here, I'll do the bottom angle. So I start underneath my parallel line, and it's about this big. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Measure right here, coming down underneath, and I'm just going to do a line. Oh my gosh. Look, my parallel line was almost perfect. Now I connect the points right there, and there's a parallel line. Perfect. Question is, how far do I move along this parallel line? How far does B move? So now I measure the vector, the length. Okay, so I've got the right direction. Now I need the right length. So I'm going to measure that length with my compass, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. So B is going to go right to here. I need to give it a new name because I don't want to get confused. So I'm going to just call it B prime, my new point B. And now I just need to move A. Now I can do the same thing with A and make a parallel line, but I also can use some information that I know. I know how far A is going to move. It's going to move as far as the vector is. So I'm going to actually first just kind of show that and say, I know A is going to be somewhere along this arc because it's going to move this distance. I know another piece of information about A. I also know how far A is from B. So I can measure that as well, which funny, it's actually the same distance. That's amazing, not normal. And I can go to our new B prime and have that help me find our new A prime. So I make an arc here. So where these two intersect, right here, becomes my A prime. Okay. And now I can connect those points. Okay. And I now have my new transversal. So this works great. And the steps, just to kind of go over them right here, are the steps that I took to do this. So I'll put those right here for you. Okay. And so to make this move every time, these are the 4 steps that I took. All right. I first did a transversal. Then I made parallel lines using my angle trick. Then I measured the vector distance. And then for each point left over, I measured the vector distance, which I marked here, and the distance to that point. So the distance here, and then I went to the B prime and measured that. So hopefully now you can go forward and try the second picture.